In the vast expanse of the southeastern Pacific Ocean lies a remote volcanic island known as Rapa Nui. This isolated landmass, more commonly known as Easter Island, holds one of the world's most profound archaeological enigmas. The island is famed for its monumental statues, the Moai, which stand as silent sentinels along its coastline. These colossal figures were carved by the Rapa Nui people, the island's Polynesian inhabitants. They arrived sometime between 700 and 1200 AD, navigating the vast ocean in great canoes. The purpose of the Moai is believed to be connected to ancestor worship. They likely represent the spirits of revered chiefs or important lineage figures. These statues were considered the living faces, or eringa ora, of the deified ancestors. The Rapa Nui believed the statues held a sacred, spiritual essence known as mana. This mana was thought to protect the tribe and ensure fertility and prosperity. The larger the statue, the more mana its commissioning chief was believed to possess. This belief fueled a competitive cycle of statue construction among different clans. Nearly all of the more than 900 known Moai were carved from a single source. This source was the quarry at Raraku, a volcanic crater on the island's eastern side. The stone itself is a compressed volcanic ash known as tuff. This material was relatively soft and easier to carve with the available tools. The statues are characterized by their distinct, stylized features. Their heads are famously oversized, comprising about 3/8 of the entire statue. They possess heavy brows, prominent noses, and thin, pursed lips. The earlobes are often depicted as long and extended. It is a common misconception that the Moai are merely heads. In reality, most have full bodies that were gradually buried by centuries of soil erosion. Archaeological excavations have revealed these hidden torsos, some with intricate carvings. The average Moai stands about 4 meters, or 13 feet, The average weight is a staggering 12.5 metric tons. The largest completed Moai, known as Paro, was nearly 10 meters high. Paro weighed an astonishing 82 metric tons. An even larger, unfinished statue remains in the quarry. If completed, it would have stood 21 meters tall and weighed around 270 tons. Some Moai were adorned with large, cylindrical red hats or top knots. These are known as pukao. The pukao were carved from a different quarry, Puna Pau, which contained red scoria. They are thought to represent the traditional top-knot hairstyle worn by high-ranking men. Placing these heavy pukao atop the tall Moai was an additional, remarkable engineering feat. The statues were erected on large stone platforms called ahu. These ahu are scattered primarily along the island's coastline. The ahu served as sacred ceremonial sites and burial grounds. Almost all of the Moai face inland, away from the sea. They were positioned to watch over the villages and their descendants. This orientation emphasizes their role as protectors of the living community. A notable exception is the Ahu Akivi. The 7 Moai of Ahu Akivi are unique because they face towards the ocean. Legend says these 7 figures represent the 7 original explorers sent to find the island. Ahu Akivi is also unique for being located inland, not on the coast. The transportation of these colossal statues remains the most debated mystery. How did a Stone Age society move such massive objects over miles of difficult terrain? The island's oral traditions provide a compelling clue. These legends speak of the Moai walking to their platforms. For years, this idea was dismissed as mere folklore. However, recent experimental archaeology has given the theory new life. Research has demonstrated that a Moai replica could be moved in an upright position. Using a system of ropes and a coordinated team, the statue can be rocked and swiveled forward. This walking motion would have been slow and arduous, but feasible. This method also explains why many fallen Moai are found along the ancient roads. A fall during upright transport would likely pitch the statue forward or backward. The more traditional theory involves the use of wooden sleds or rollers. This theory posits that the statues were laid flat for transport. The island was once home to large palm trees, now extinct. These trees could have provided the timber for sledges and rollers. This theory is linked to the ecocide hypothesis of the island's history. It suggests that the obsession with statue building led to total deforestation. The loss of trees would have led to soil erosion and agricultural collapse. This, in turn, could have led to starvation, conflict, and societal decline. However, this ecocide narrative is now being challenged by new evidence. Some research suggests deforestation was a more prolonged and complex process. Rats, arriving with the first settlers, would have eaten the palm nuts, preventing forest regeneration. Furthermore, there is evidence of the Rapa Nui's innovative farming techniques. They developed methods to enrich the soil and sustain their population in a challenging environment. The period of statue building appears to have stopped around 1500 AD. The reasons for this cessation are tied to the island's eventual crisis. By the time Europeans first arrived, the society was already in a state of change. On Easter Sunday in 1722, Dutch explorer Jacob Roggeveen landed on the island. He and his crew were the first documented Europeans to make contact. At this time, many of the Moai were still standing proudly on their ahu. However, the island's population had clearly declined from its peak. The following century brought more contact with the outside world, with devastating consequences. European diseases, to which the islanders had no immunity, ravaged the population. Internal conflicts also intensified during this period. Clans began to topple the Moai of their rivals, a grave desecration of their sacred power. By the latter half of the 19th century, all the standing Moai had been overthrown. The final blow came from Peruvian slave raids in the 1860s. These raids abducted a significant portion of the remaining population, including the elite. The island's king, scribes and religious leaders were taken, and with them, vast cultural knowledge was lost. The Rongo script, a unique system of glyphs, remains undeciphered to this day. By 1877, only about 110 Rapa Nui people remained on the island. The great Moai building culture had completely vanished. In the 20th century, archaeological efforts began to piece the story together. Many Moai have since been re-erected on their original ahu platforms. Ahu Tongariki, with its 15 standing Moai, is a stunning example of this restoration work. It is the largest ahu ever built. The statues were swept inland by a tsunami in 1960 and later restored. Modern science continues to reveal new secrets. Analysis of the statue stone shows they were placed to mark sources of fresh water. This theory suggests the Moai were not just spiritual, but also practical markers. In 2023, a new, smaller Moai was discovered in a dried-up lake bed. This finding underscores how much there is still to learn. The fringe theory of extraterrestrial involvement has been thoroughly debunked. All tools and materials found are of local, earthly origin. The evolution of Moai design over time shows a clear cultural, human progression. The mystery is not if humans built them, but how they harness their collective will. The Moai are a testament to the ingenuity and social organization of the Rapa Nui. They managed to create and move these monuments with limited resources. Their story is a complex narrative of achievement, spirituality, and resilience. It is also a cautionary tale about the delicate balance between culture and environment. The silent statues of Easter Island continue to guard their secrets. They challenge our understanding of what is possible through human determination. The Rapa Nui people created a unique and isolated civilization. Their monumental art remains one of the greatest wonders of the ancient world. The eye sockets of the Moai were originally intended to be inlaid with coral. When the eye was placed, it was believed the ancestor's spirit could see. Few of these coral eyes have survived. The act of toppling a rival's moai often involved breaking its neck. This was the ultimate insult to the rival clan's ancestors. The Birdman cult arose after the main Moai carving era. This new religion was based on a competition to retrieve a sacred egg. The winner's clan would rule the island for the following year. This shift in religion reflects a major change in Rapa Nui society. It moved from a focus on stable ancestor worship to one of fierce competition. The island's isolation was both a blessing and a curse. It allowed a unique culture to develop without outside influence for centuries. But it also meant there was no escape when resources dwindled and conflict arose. The Rapa Nui people were entirely dependent on their small island's ecosystem. The story of Easter Island is a microcosm of planetary challenges. It speaks of innovation, belief, overexploitation, and resilience. The descendants of the Rapa Nui people live on the island today. They are the living custodians of this incredible heritage. Their language and traditions have undergone a powerful revival. The Moai are not just ancient stones. They are family. Each statue has a name and a story known to the local community. The enigma of the Moai is not just how they were moved. It is why they were made with such devotion and effort. The answer lies in the profound connection the Rapa Nui had with their ancestors. They literally carved their lineage into the landscape of their home. This act transformed the island into a sacred space. The silent sentinels of Rapa Nui stand as a permanent reminder. They remind us of a lost world of monumental faith and ambition. And they continue to inspire awe and wonder in all who see them.